Many of us have ideas for inventions we think would be revolutionary. What happens? We sit on them, forget about them. Then we see them on TV or on a store shelf a year later. We smack our foreheads and say, hey, I thought of that idea a year ago. Of course, our family and friends never believe us.
Our next guest came up with an idea for a product in a craft class, decided to patent it, produce it, and sold over 1 million units a year and retired 8 years later.
Ladies and gentlemen, join us in welcoming the inventor queen, Nancy B.
So Nancy, a lot of people come up with ideas all the time, and there's a lot of commercials on the air. Hey, if you've got an idea, send to us and all this sort of stuff. You actually followed through on it, and you came up with this gift wrap organizer. And you know something? I've got one question for you. When are you going to come up with the guy wrap organizer?
It's right here. Look, gift bag.
This is
right,
very universal, John.
Nancy, everybody likes to hear not only what you've done, but how you started out. So where did you grow up? What was family life like? Brothers, sisters, things like that?
Family life was great. I was very fortunate. We were in a small town in Oregon. I have an older sister, younger brother by 7 years. My sister and I were a year and a half apart, so we were kind of that constant competition, and I was that little sister. And life was great. I was a tomboy, not really into school, other than that was a great place to go and be with my friends. And my sister was the student.
Oh, boy.
So came time to hit teenagehood, and we moved to Seattle. And that was an awful time to move, 14 years old, and start a whole new life, new city, new kind of people, because, a little town, you're always with the same folks for many, many years.
When was your first job?
Well, I got a wonderful opportunity. A man from another country had an office here in Seattle and hired me to be his assistant.
Okay.
And he needed someone that was very American, because he had a lot of avenues that he hadn't melded in quite yet. And so I was given opportunities. I was flying all over the country.
Wow.
One day he called me at home and needed me to go to the Haitian consulate in New York City.
Wow.
And I was probably 19, 20 at the time.
Very cool.
On the way to the airport, on this napkin, he's writing, he knew New York like the back of his hand. And so he's explaining, you'll get off the plane and you'll do this and you'll do that. That import-export experience is what gave me the confidence to start my own company.
Interesting.
And make it, I think, a successful company.
What prompted you to design a gift wrap organizer?
I know the moment it hit. I was sitting in a craft class with a girlfriend, and a woman had walked in with her organization hanger for teaching the class. And I looked and I thought, and I just kind of jotted down that she had this hanging on a hanger with some pockets on a piece of fabric. I don't know why, but it struck me that it would make a lot of sense to keep your gift wrap that way. And so I expanded on her idea, which I believe is for all of you out there, expanding on something is excellent.
Absolutely.
And so that's what I did.
When did you actually decide, okay, I'm going to do something with this idea? You're not just going to let it sit around.
Way down the road from when I initially came up with the idea. I came up with the idea few years. I came up with the idea for myself. Everyone who ever saw it wanted me to make them one. We started out with a little over 4,000 as our initial run. And
that's
in my mind,
scary, because you're thinking these are going to be piled up in my garage.
That exact thought. In the Seattle area, each holiday season there is a giant show of holiday goods down at the Tacoma Dome. There are actually many like it all over the country.
So you've got 4,000 products.
Yes, and we set up our display there at the Dome.
You rented a little booth there.
Yep.
Okay.
And we sold them like crazy. In fact,
sold them like
we were on the phone to my mother, my sister, everyone, come help, come help.
We need people to work the booth.
It was a 5-day show, and it was grueling, but we sold them like crazy. And
that
so
had to be encouraging.
Well, that was it. That was the pat on the back. That was the confidence that then every commercial person I approached, it was easy because I had the confidence already that the people liked it. The first year we sold 80,000 of these.
Wow.
And
oh my God.
people that, it was just great. Lillian Vernon herself became a buddy.
How many units are you selling a year when you decided to sell?
We were selling over 1 million a year for
wow.
a few years.
How many countries? This import-export experience you had.
Yeah, really.
I know it's
Many
gonna come in.
countries. I don't know a number, but many countries.
So they're actually being sold elsewhere besides the U.S.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of wannabe inventors out there, and not everybody, you know, is going to end up with maybe a product that's internationally distributed like yours was. But tell people, what sort of advice do you have for people out there?
There are folks out there, I guess, sadly enough, as with most all realms of life, that are ready to take your money. Make sure you get a lot of different names of people you can call on. And then another thing that I would definitely put right up on top is the naysayers. Stay positive. You probably couldn't tell yourself that enough, because there are those ready to trip you up all the time, and they could even be your friends and family. So, you know, just stick with it, and when you know in your gut you're right, just keep with it.
Excellent.
Absolutely. Well, Nancy, inventor extraordinaire, it's been really a lot of fun to hear how you take a product from an idea standpoint and all the way to market. Thanks for coming in to share it. I'm sure a lot of people wanted to know about this.
I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh my God, I can do this now.
Well, the new thing born every minute that's a success is definitely the truth.
All right.
Go with your thing, and thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for coming.